I am continuing the Vegeta series. I decided just to take a break and do one shot because, well, I always kind of figured this would be a cool crossover. Since Hazbin Hotel just finished its first season and everyone's still hyped, it's time to jump on that bandwagon. Now that's being said, let's get to it. Frieza would be going to King Yemen right after Trunks killed him. And as he arrived, King Yemen was going to send him straight to hell. But he realized something. Frieza had phenomenal potential, and he just had this urge. King Yemen decided to get a psychic to look into the future, and he saw what Frieza would do. He would come back more strong and menacing than ever, and King Yemen did not want that to happen. So King Yemen looked at Frieza and said, "I have a special punishment for you." Frieza looked up and said, "Oh, what's that?" King Yemen said, "You'll be sent to another reality. A reality where you cannot harm any of us. And a reality where you can be redeemed, but I doubt that will happen." Frieza was then confused as he looks up and says another reality, but then suddenly he was transported straight to the Hazbin Hotel universe. As he got up, he looked around. He saw a big city. As Frieza began to fly, he tried to fly away from it, but then a force field stopped him. This force field was the magic barrier that kept sinners in the Pride Ring. No matter how hard Frieza tried, no matter how many ki blasts he used, he could not leave. Frieza then went back down to the floor, saying, "No matter, if I get strong enough, I can break the barrier. It's time I train." As Frieza began to look around, he began to walk around and get used to his surroundings. And as he did this, Frieza would find a flyer for redemption. Now, Frieza didn't really care about this, but if he could trick them and get into heaven, then he could fight God himself. Frieza could tell that this was another reality, and everything seemed so different. All of the demons, everything. He heard about the afterlife from the planets he's conquered, and none of the stories line up with this place. Either they're all wrong, which is possible, or this is another reality, and since King Yemen said so, he was inclined to believe that. Frieza would be walking to the Hazbin Hotel, as a sinner would walk in front of him. Frieza would say, "Out of my way." He would look at him and say, "Why would I get out of your way? You're nothing but a..." But then he would kill him with a death beam. As he fell to the floor, he walked right past him. Frieza was going to have to do a lot of work. And it all started here. He would then go and knock on the door. This would take place after the pilot, but before any of the main episodes. As Frieza knocked, Charlie opened it. And Frieza said, "Yes, I'm here to be redeemed." Charlie was confused at first. Obviously, he was a sinner, but he never seen a sinner look like him before. I wonder how he died. Usually sinners look the way they died and how they lived, but Frieza looked just alien. Charlie said, "Sure, what is your name?" "Frieza." "Frieza, huh? Well, how'd you die?" Frieza would make up a fake backstory about being some drug lord that did it for his family and did some bad stuff and yada yada yada. Seeing that Charlie was a sap, he played her, and it worked. As he was offered as residency. As he was a resident, Frieza would begin to train in his room and get stronger and stronger. Frieza knew that this was Hell's daughter, and she must have some power. If he gets good with her, maybe he can break the barrier. Maybe Frieza can take over Hell. He just didn't know. But he wanted a nice place to live for him to figure out his plans, so he stayed at the Hazbin Hotel. But as a few days passed, Alistair would come into Frieza's room. As Alistair would look at it, he said, "Vaggie didn't trust you, so she asked me to check in on you. You keep to yourself mostly, that's fine. But I could tell there's something up. You're probably here to destroy..." Frieza suddenly looked and said, "Get out of my room." Alistair then turned into his demonic form and says, "What makes you think you can boss?" But then Frieza would shoot him in the legs with a death beam, then in the arms as he fell to the floor. "Maybe I should keep you like this, a worm forced to crawl forever." As Frieza laughed, he stepped on his head and began to unleash his full power. Alistair began to shake. Frieza would say, "I'm not scared of you. You're just a 2-bit villain who craves fear. I am someone who wants more than just fear. I want control and power. Now, if you tell Charlie about this, I'll kill you, understand?" Alistair looked up. and begrudgingly agreed as he kicked him out of the door. Nifty looked in, seeing. Frieza got to get nervous since Nifty saw, scared he would tell Charlie, but then Nifty said, "You're a bad boy. I like bad boys. Can I work for you?" Frieza was shocked as Frieza looked down and said, "Sure you can. Now, the plan can commence." Frieza would then get to know people better, and as events passed, the first episode came and went, where Charlie got to know Adam. And Frieza would be intrigued about this Adam character, and would start to learn about this universe, and about Christian mythology and hazbin mythology, since it is based on Christian mythology, but it does have its own twists and turns. Frieza learned about the one god and how he controls everything, and Frieza would think, how can he get stronger than this one god? Is there a way? As time passed, Frieza would be training and hiding his power. As one day, Angel Dust would be flirting with Frieza. As Frieza would get annoyed, Angel Dust would look at that tail and say, "I don't really see any junk, so is that really a tail?" Frieza would look at him and say, "Funny. Seriously though, where's your junk, man, if that's just your tail? I mean, you don't even wear clothes, but I don't see any, you don't have a cock. I don't see any. How do you perform, in the bedroom without that?" Frieza looked at Angel Dust and he wanted to kill him because this was one of the most annoying conversations he ever had. And his species produces asexually. But then he realized something. He can't tell Angel Dust that. So he just looked at him and said, "If I help you, will you stop talking about this? Help me how?" Frieza just walked out of the hotel, as Husk looked and said, "There you go. That guy's weird. I don't think you should talk to him." Angel said, "Whatever." As Frieza wanted to try out his new form, he decided if he helped Angel, maybe he would shut up. So he went to Valentino's office. As the three Vs were having a meeting, he would fly up into the building. As he crashed through the wall, they would look and say, "Who the hell are you?" Frieza turned gold and said, "I'm the last thing you're gonna see." Valentino would then pull out all of his guns and shoot Frieza right in the face, as it did nothing. He looked shocked. "But these are the best weapons. Some of them are even angelic. How can you?" Frieza simply turned gold and picked up Valentino by the tail and began to choke him out as he tortured him. Vox would then try to get involved, but he would simply destroy him. The Vs were no match for Frieza. He would torture them, brutalize them, and enjoy their pain and misery. He hasn't been able to torture someone in so long since he's been in that hotel, so he was savoring every second of it as he killed them. As their lifeless bodies hit the floor, Frieza realized they could regenerate, so he decided to make sure that wouldn't happen by using some magic he learned. Frieza was researching magic, so he combined that with his ki to make sure when he kills someone, they won't regenerate, causing them all to be dead. As then Frieza flew out the building, taking Valentino's head. Angel was asleep. As the door would open, Frieza would throw Valentino's head right at him. As Angel got up and began to yell at Frieza for throwing something at him, Frieza said, "Look what it is." He looked and it was Valentino's skull. He was shocked as he fell to the floor. "How did you?" "You're welcome. Now don't bother me since I helped you." He would walk away. Angel Dust would be shocked. How strong is Frieza? And he would really do this just so he wouldn't bother him? As Angel Dust began to shake, the time continued to pass. Angel Dust and the Radio Demon were scared of Frieza, and Frieza always put on a smiley face around Charlie, but he kept to himself, and most people saw past it. Vega even told Charlie to get rid of Frieza, but she just wouldn't listen. And as the time passed, eventually, Lucifer himself would show up. As Lucifer would show up to the hotel, things would go normally, but as he walked out, Frieza would follow him. He would look behind him and say, "What do you want?" Frieza would turn black and say, "Give me the power to break the barrier." Charlie's dad would look at him. Lucifer would be confused. "Why do you want to leave the Pride Ring?" "So I can control hell, of course. You are nothing but a pathetic ruler who sits in depression. I will take over hell, and I will lead it to greatness." Charlie's dad would then look at him. As Lucifer got mad, he began to put out his angelic powers. "You really think you can challenge me, fool?" As he flew, Black Frieza simply punched him straight in the chest. As his fist went straight through his chest, Black Frieza says, "I don't think, I know. Because you're nothing but a weak, pathetic fool.
just like everyone else in this universe. As he fell down to the floor dead, Frieza began to laugh. Hoo, 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 as he felt Lucifer's powers come inside of him. As he felt the energy going through his body, becoming stronger as he killed them. As he walked over, he broke the barrier to the Pride Ring, meaning sinners can finally leave. This shocked everything, and made it so the extermination was useless. As sinners went into all the other rings, hell broke out into chaos. Frieza no longer needed Charlie, would have to take care of the trash. As he flew back to the hotel, he would say, "Thank you all for listening. Angel and Alistair and Vdi, you will all be useful, but Charlie and Vaggie, bye-bye." Charlie looked and said, "What's going on? Why are you?" But then, before she could finish, Frieza simply blew her up, killing her instantly. Radio Demon began to shake in fear as Vaggie charged with an angelic spear, stabbing Frieza, but it did nothing as the spear just broke. "That's impossible. That only works on people from this universe," Frieza says, as he simply death beams her straight in the skull. Frieza would take over Hell and kill Asmodeus and Mammon. Asmodeus because lust isn't really needed in his empire. It doesn't really help him since he wants to run it like he used to. True, he's not taking over planets, so he's going to have to turn it more militaristic, but he decides that lust has no place in his empire, and Mammon was too cocky and would try to play Frieza. He didn't like that. Eventually, he would call a meeting with Adam and the Exorcist. As Adam met with them, he said, "So, you're the new ruler of Hell, and you want to cancel the extermination. Sorry, but we can't really do that. You see, that's kind of my job here," and Frieza would simply punch him, sending his fist straight through his chest. As Adam coughed up blood, he grabbed his ribs and ripped it out. Funny, God took one of your ribs to make a person, so I think I'll kill you with it. As he stabbed his neck with his ribs, killing him. This pissed off the Exorcist as they all went after Frieza, but he killed them all with a death beam as he laughed, leaving one alive. Go back to heaven and say, "If you send an angel down here, I will burn it to the ground." As he walked off, Frieza would take over Hell, and we would have plans to take over heaven, but that'll be a story for another day. And that's gonna leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. I want to do a crossover between Dragon Ball and Hazbin because I haven't seen that done in a while. And I have thought about doing other Dragon Ball villains and have them turn good. I think that could be interesting. But Frieza's downright evil, so why not have him take over all of Hell? I think that's a fun story. Anyway, love you all. Peace out.